Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a great and wonderful day. Now, you guys are all probably hearing about this, about how Tyson Foods is, hiring illegal immigrants. If you do not know, well, welcome. You will now know that this is the case. So, without further ado, we're going to get directly into this. Tyson Foods boycotted as it sacks 1,300 staff at Iowa Park plant and offers job and lawyers packages in bid to hire 42,000 asylum seekers in New York. Angry shoppers are boycotting Tyson food products as the $53 million meat firm shutters plants in Iowa and elsewhere while hiring thousands of asylum seekers at job fairs in New York. Campaigners are urging consumers to stop buying Tyson food products amid its wave of closures of poultry and meat processing plants across Iowa, Virginia, Arkansas, Indiana, and Missouri. They point to Tyson's efforts to hire thousands of asylum seekers in New York, offering $16.50 an hour wages and free immigration lawyers, accusing the firm of ditching U.S.-born workers for cheaper migrant labor. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Because, again, when you have to pay an American citizen, you have to actually pay them an actual wage, right? You got to pay them. You got to pay them like at actual good wage. Well, if you don't want to pay these people anything, you can just pay them crap. It will save them money, and they profit from it. And they can just hire illegal people. What the hell? We have more on that. It says America First Legal conservative action group launching by former Trump administration officials warned Tyson that they could be breaking the law by favoring foreign-born workers over Americans. And I would 100% agree. If you were a born American here and you were looking for a job, that's like them firing you and then hiring an illegal person and making them cost more or pay less, actually. So you were just replaced by an illegal immigrant that was not born here, but you are an American citizen and you are born here. Why should this illegal foreign person be allowed to have a job and and you can't? Let that make sense for a second here. That's just straight up insane. It is illegal under federal law to discriminate against American citizens based on their citizenship in favor of non-citizens of any kind when it comes to employment. The legal action group posted online. Tyson Foods, based in Springdale, Arkansas, which made $52 million in sales last year through its Jimmy Dean, Hillshire Farm, Ballpark, Wright, Adels, and other brands did not answer DailyMail.com requests for comment. The boycott raises tough questions for Tyson's $13 million a year CEO Donnie King, who has led the firm since 2021, during which time it has funded the campaign chest of President Joe Biden, Nikki Haley, and others, according to Open Secrets. Well, Nikki Haley is a Democrat in name, so that's not really too much of a surprising here. Whatever she says is just stupid. The case spotlights fears about migration across the U.S.-Mexico border and that asylum seekers are replacing Americans, especially in meat packing and other undesirable jobs amid record low unemployment. Tyson this week said it would shutter its pork plant in Perry, Iowa this summer, putting 1,276 people out of work in a town of just 8,000. About half of the plant's workers are understood to be Latino, according to new local news outlets. Last May, Tyson Foods closed 2 facilities in Virginia and Arkansas that employed more than 1,600 people. In April, it announced plans to cut 10% of corporate jobs and 15% of executives. Plant in North Little Rock, Arkansas, Corydon, Indiana, and Dexter and Noel, Missouri are set to end operations the first half of 2024, following a 0.8% slump in the company's sales between 2022 and 2023. But Tyson, meanwhile, has moved to hire more of the asylum seekers who headed to New York and other cities after entering the U.S. seeking to fill undesirable jobs amid a low employment rate at 3.9%. Again, from Ed Wokeness, yes, Tyson is closing its facility in Perry, Iowa, and laying off its 1,200 workers. Instead, they plan to hire thousands of new legals in states like New York. Pass it on. So if you guys are wondering what Tyson Foods are, they are obviously Tyson, Jimmy Dean, Hillshire Farm, Hillshire, Ballpark, Adels, Raised and Rooted, State Fair, Nature Raised Farms, Sara Lee, Bonici, Gallo Salami, Bosco's, Wright, and that's about it for the most part. But, however, that being said, there's a lot of things you could easily say here. Now, I can understand buying food, such as chicken or whatever, might be a bit harder for you to do, or some other foods. But some of this processed foods, it's like Jimmy Dean, you don't need that crap. That stuff's bad for you anyways. It's processed, it's not good. You don't need to eat processed food. But there's some other stuff there that you can do that can obviously boycott this company. The meatpacker already employs about 42,000 immigrants among his 120,000 strong U.S. workforce, and seeks to boost this by cooperating with the Tent Partnership for Refugees and nonprofit, among other efforts. We would like to employ another 42,000 if we could find them, Garrett Dolan, who leads citizen and social efforts, told Bloomberg recently. In recent weeks, the company hired dozens of asylum seekers from Venezuela, Mexico, and Colombia at a job fair in New York City. They traveled to New York to work at its poultry plant in Humboldt, Tennessee. According to Dolan, asylum seekers fill the gaps at plants with a high turnover staff. The company needs to fill 52,000 jobs this year. Second is pay starting $16 an hour, with paid for immigration lawyers and other perks. A large portion of new hires are going to come from refugees and immigrants, so we're now in the business of strategically thinking that thorough, Dolan said. Asylum seekers cannot work upon entering the U.S. and typically don't get permits until 180 days after they apply for legal status. Many wait for years before their first immigration court hearing to judge their asylum claim, during which they can work. Yeah, well, again, that's what you get for being an asylum. Being an asylum seeker, you are not an actual immigrant. You do not, and all this other stuff. So you have to go through the proper procedures. Instead, Tyson wants to go negate that, and they want to just hire illegal immigrants instead. They would rather hire these people than the actual Americans, and that leaves Americans without a job, and that leaves other families having to suffer for it. So that's great. So Americans are now last, and as we see here, Tyson Foods hoping to hire over 40,000 immigrants for labor manufacturing jobs. So yeah, that's just reality. So remember, let this be known, guys, that to these corporate companies, and even the Democrats, you are last, illegal immigrants and asylum seekers are first, and Americans go kick the curb because they want power. So let that be known. So, if you want to change anything, make sure you kind of vote correctly here. Maybe vote for Donald Trump, because he's our only saving grace to save this bloody country, unless you want to live under a tyrannical rule and lose your jobs and be kicked out of your country and stuff like that, because they don't actually care about you. Alright, that's it for the video, guys. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted about what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.